Rosie, go ahead, honey.
I'm Adeline Mletzko, and I'm playing young Tarzan.
I'm Sophia, Jarosz, and I'm assistant producer.
And I'm Connie Rauhauser, and I am here to just talk about some of my experiences at SLOC.
So, what was your first production at SLOC?
My first production at SLOC was Sweeney Todd, and not the one most people think of. It was back in, I'm going to say 1997 or 98. I came in because they were having some issues with the costumer. They weren't getting all the things they needed. And I came in 2 weeks before the show opened and costumed the show in 2 weeks. And it was when I met some of my very, very good friends. I will tell you that Dave Dixon was one of the people in that cast, and Dave and I have been friends ever since. I think it's 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. What was your favorite memory, like from that production, or just any of the first?
My favorite memory for that production is actually one with Dave Dixon, because he had kept saying that he'd asked the costumer 3 or 4 times for a very simple thing like a scarf. Now, a scarf, we all have them in our homes, right? So I often go to my house to find things. I walked in the next day and I handed him a scarf, and he gave me the biggest hug and just was like, "That's the best thing, thank you." So that was one of my favorite memories from that show.
So, how has SLOC changed over the years? Like, what's the same and what has changed?
You know, I actually was thinking about this question because as I went upstairs to look through costumes, because our costumes are stored upstairs in this building, I was pulling out the Paris Original dresses, which are the green dress over here is a Paris Original. And we made, and I say we because I always have people who help me sew. I do all of the designing, and I do a lot of the sewing myself, but we made 12 of those dresses because there were that many girls that played and needed Paris Original dresses, and that's for, funny thing happened on, no it's not. It's for how to succeed in business without really trying. And all the girls end up at the party with the same dress on. And when I first started to make them, the fabric for them, there were some already up there because they'd done it maybe 20 years before I did it. And I reached out and found the person that actually did the original Paris Original dresses and got some of the fabric from her she had left over to continue to make more of them to fit all of our girls. So the thing about SLOC is that you're looking at a company that has 97 years of history. So when you look at that and you realize mine is only a quarter of that time, it goes back so much further. It's so deep and rich with history. That's the thing about SLOC, and I'm so excited. You guys both said it's your first production, so welcome. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you. What has your involvement been over the years?
So obviously I've costumed, I believe, over 30 shows. I have been artistic director. I've been on the SLOC board as a board member. I have been vice president. I have been helped with set dressing and set design. And I have also recently been a grandparent to somebody on stage with the 3rd generation of my family on a SLOC stage.
Wow.
So, do you have any words for wisdom or like advice?
The thing I will tell you is that you will make some of the best friends of your life here. There's no doubt that as you do a production in this community, and it's not just SLOC, it's the theater community in general, that you become a family during the time you spend together. And I think that that is one of the things that be open to that and enjoy it. The other thing is that I can tell you that this is the most inclusive group I've ever been part of. They are diverse in many ways, and I absolutely love that. Has that been your experience so far?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's great.
And then a final question I have is, what is your favorite costume like you've ever?
My favorite costume is the one on the end over there. That is the Chrysler Building dress from the producers. And I don't know if you know the show The Producers at all, but a guy wears that dress, and it was something that you can't buy off the shelf or whatever, so you have to make it. And if you look at the dress, it really does look like the Chrysler building on the front of it. And he had things on his arms hanging down and things flowy like this. And he absolutely loved the dress. It was, so every time he put it on, he was just as happy as could be. So Michael Camilla wore that dress. You want to know about any of these others?
Yes.
Okay. So this dress right here, this is one of 3. And I costumed a show called Caroline or Change. And Caroline or Change, the different characters in it are actually objects. So the radio had 3 girls, and every time the radio talked or sang or anything, 3 girls were the ones. And so they wore this dress. There's also a washing machine in it, a dryer, a moon, a bus. It was really an amazing show that we did here back around 2011, I believe, 2012, in that time. This dress is one of about 7, but they were all different color palettes. And this came from 42nd Street. And it was, the women had this, it had a belt that matched going across it, and then the men had vests that matched, and they had a big dance number together, and those were all made. This one right here was from one of my shows that I did, let me stand on this side, called The Scarlet Pimpernel. And that show is one set in the French Revolution time period, and all of the men in the show have to dress up very almost effeminate. There's bows and lace and all this kind of stuff. And so I borrowed from all kinds of places because making men's suits is not easy. But this one we did make, you can see these are called gussets in it that you put in so that when he moves, it flows like a skirt on stage and everything. So, all right.
That was so good, Con.